Maher remembers Gilbert Gottfried. He was the king of too soon. Maher noted that Gottfried was expected to appear in his New Year's show in Hawaii, and he was looking forward to getting to know the late comedian on a more personal level. I've known him for 40 years. Never knew him well. He was a hard guy to get to know well. I mean, he was so funny and so always on, Maher said, adding that despite spending hundreds of hours with Gottfried, he was always joking. When Kimmel asked if he meant that Gottfried was one to never answer a question seriously, Maher agreed that it was a kind of that way. There are people I know an hour that I feel like I know better than I knew Gilbert. But I thought, here's the time. That's what that Hawaii trip was for, Maher explained. And if the persona continued, Maher said at least he could have been spending time laughing with the comedian. Kimmel shared the same sentiments of Gottfried always being on and noted, "It always made me feel kind of odd when I would ask him a question. He would never give you a real answer, and in a way it felt like the message was, why would I answer this seriously when I could be funny right now?" Maher went on to describe Gottfried as the king of too soon, referencing a time when Gottfried got into a world of trouble after making a 9/11 joke at Hugh Hefner's roast. Kimmel noted that he was actually hosting that roast, which was taped shortly after the tragedy, and recalled Gottfried going on stage and saying some of the craziest stuff. To honor Gottfried's legacy, Maher said he felt like he really let him down by not being able to come up with something totally inappropriate to joke about his death, given that's how he'd probably want everyone to handle it. But he felt good knowing that he managed to give him a shout-out during a recent airing of Real Time. I don't think he was probably able to hear it, Maher recalled of mentioning the comedian on last week's show. But if I was a religious person I would say, he kind of knows. But I'm not, so screw that. The Far Side, Air Supply shows the power of love songs. Graham Russell and Russell Hitchcock are just 1 year away from celebrating their 50th anniversary recording and playing music together. These guys, better known as the band Air Supply, have created a sound and a legacy that has taken them to all points of the globe. Their brand of popular music and timeless love ballads have made them one of music's most popular touring bands for decades. In fact, Air Supply is out on tour again this year with a show appropriately titled The Lost in Love Experience. The band will play at the award-winning Blue Gate Performing Arts Center in Shipshewana, Indiana, on Friday, March 15th. Tickets are still available and can be purchased at thebluegate.com. I'm a huge lover of music, and growing up in the 80s afforded me the luxury of enjoying some of the best music ever recorded. This band is one of my all-time favorites. I'm often asked by readers of this column what was the first album I ever owned. Truth be told, it was a cassette copy of Air Supply's greatest hits given to me by my parents for Christmas. I loved every song on it and knew the words to each one. I always thought Russell Hitchcock had one of the greatest voices in rock and roll. No other male artist could hit some of the notes that Hitchcock could achieve. Like most great pairings in rock and roll, Russell and Hitchcock met and instantly bonded. The two stars lived in Australia and met during rehearsals for Jesus Christ Superstar. The guys would perform at nightclubs, coffee shops, and any other gathering spot to perform. Russell would play guitar and harmonize with Hitchcock. Performing well-known tracks by other artists and some originals written by Hitchcock, they created a buzz. CBS Records took interest and soon they began making a bigger splash in their native Australia. Then, they got a break opening for Rod Stewart in Australia, the US and Canada. After the tour they recorded the song Lost in Love, which quickly became a top 10 song. The song also caught the attention of Clive Davis at Arista Records in New York. Davis had an ear for talent. This man knows how to pick them, i.e. Barry Manilow, Melissa Manchester, Whitney Houston, and Alicia Keys to name a few. Under Davis in 1980, Lost in Love became the fastest-selling single in the world. The band's follow-up, All Out of Love, was even a bigger hit. So, for two guys who loved to talk about their love for the Beatles, they would see their names in a similar setting. Air Supply quickly amassed 7 consecutive top 5 singles which tied the Beatles' record. Album after album including A Lost in Love, The One That You Love, Now and Forever, and Air Supply Greatest Hits have sold over 25 million copies. But their singles have long been hits, even decades after their chart domination days in the 80s. Songs like All Out of Love, Every Woman in the World, Lost in Love, Here I Am, The One That You Love, The Sweet Dreams, The Two Less Lonely People in the World, Even the Nights Are Better, and A Young Love have become part of the fabric of our lives. But, for me, it has always been their song A Making Love Out of Nothing at All that has remained one of my all-time most favorite songs. I put that song into a class all its own. Hitchcock's vocals can't be matched no matter how hard others have tried to duplicate them. I've had the luxury of seeing Air Supply in the past. I was blown away by the fact that many years have gone by, but this music can still have the power to move people and have the same impact. It's an experience, a lost in love experience. David T. Farr is a journal correspondent. Email him.